my name is Tori and I'm the yoga instructor for Texas A&M Central Texas. And today I thought we would focus more on twisting. So twisting in the abdomen, just kind of unwinding a lot of tension from our spine and our abdominals. So let's go ahead and get started way down on the mat. We're going to start reclined. So I'm going to find a seat and just roll back to lengthen the whole spine out long on the mat behind you. Make sure the neck is nice and long and neutral as well. Sorry, my bun's in the way, but I promise, lay your head nice and neutral to the ground. Knees standing to the sky. Let's go ahead and kick the arms out wide or maybe in a goalpost setting, kind of like bent at the elbow, just to kind of help stretch out the chest. And with the next couple of breaths, let's just start to rock and roll the knees a little bit left and a little bit right. We do not have to go far. We do not have to go fast. We're just kind of figuring out as we move from one side to the other how the muscles across our abdominals and across the thigh and across the hip are feeling today. Maybe we feel something across the back or near the tailbone. Just notice what you're feeling. Okay, with our next exhale, let's drop both knees over to one side. Doesn't matter, pick a side and roll. Awesome. And then let's turn our base across the body to the opposite side of the room. So knees one way, face the other way. Okay, big breath. You have the option to take that hand on the side where your knees are lying down and press down on the top knee, or just let it rest. Okay, inhale, turn to neutral with the face, with the knees, and let's go the opposite direction. So turn the knees the opposite way. Awesome. And then turn the face across the body to the opposite side of the room. Okay, knees one way, face the other way. Take a couple breaths here. Notice if anything has changed from the tailbone, around the hip, towards the belly button. Maybe it's different from when we were rocking and rolling. Maybe it still feels the same. Okay, again, we can weigh down the top knee if we want, or we can just let them be. We're going to come back to neutral. Let's flatten the palms beside our hips, stand our knees to the sky. Now, I'm going to push my bun out of the way because it's more important to have a nice neutral neck here. So, long neck, shoulders pressed into the mat, palms pressed into the mat beside you, feet as well. Let's push the hips to the sky and try to hold. Really try to bring your hips as tall as you can away from the mat. Stand those knees straight up over the heels. Keep the neck neutral. Keep looking straight up at the sky. Big bridge. Take a big breath. Exhale, release. Okay, when we get to recline on the mat again, roll to your favorite side. Press off of the mat and find tabletop. So I'm going to turn to the front of my mat. In tabletop, hands and knees are beneath the body. Spine is nice and level. Let's go ahead from our tabletop and try cat and cow. So we'll inhale to drop the belly button for cow pose. Look forward. Exhale, sweep the belly up and look back. Cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's do this 2 more times. No hurry, no rush. All right. When you are ready, let's go ahead and come back into our neutral spine, and we're going to take our tabletop twist here. So we've done this one a lot of different times, but again, the important part is making sure that our elbows are a little bit soft here. So if you lock out the elbows, the eye of the elbow is pushing forward. If you soften the elbow, it's like the eye of the elbow is towards the other eye. All right, so for tabletop twist, we're going to go ahead and sweep one arm way out wide. And then when we exhale, let's bring that arm under the body, face up, palm face up to the sky, and thread underneath our standing arm. Try to bring your ear and shoulder towards the middle of the mat, and then step that standing arm out so that the elbow is still at 90 degrees so that you can support your lifted shoulder, and keep reaching under with that twisty arm. So the twisty arm is reaching. The twisty shoulder is trying to stack under the standing shoulder. Okay, Let your face remain neutral. Just look out across the horizon here. You don't need to look up at the sky or anything. Keep the neck neutral. And as you exhale, try to release tension in the neck, the jaw, the shoulders. Okay, tabletop twist, thread the needle. Okay, let's take 2 more great breaths here. Twist, twist, reach. All right, when you are ready, step the standing arm, bring that palm closer to your face. Press into that standing arm and rise back up. Okay, when we meet our tabletop, we'll sway a little bit side to side. No big movement, not going fast. Maybe we'll pause in neutral and rock a little bit forward and rock a little bit back. We're going to be cautious of our heels and our forearms as we do this. And then we'll come back to neutral and we'll be ready to try the opposite twist. So again, you don't have to do any of these postures. If the first twist felt just excruciating and uncomfortable, do not feel like you have to do the second twist, okay? You can rest in a seated posture or stay in tabletop. But if you are ready to go for the twist, the opposite arm comes out wide. And again, we cross under the body, palm face up to the sky. Soften that standing elbow as you release the ear and shoulder towards the middle of the mat. Step away from the face. Try to keep the elbow around 90 degrees so that you can stack that lifted shoulder underneath our twisting, reaching shoulder. Okay, and remember, the gaze is neutral. We're not trying to look up at the sky or anything. We're just going to look right across the horizon. Try to exhale and release that tension in the jaw, the neck, the shoulder. We're going to try to take 4 breaths here because I talked a lot last time. In our twist, keep breathing. The breath is the most important part here. Keep it moving. When you are ready, let's go ahead and rise back up. Slow and easy, we'll come back to neutral, and again, we'll rock a little bit side to side. We'll come a little bit forward over the fingertips, a little bit back over the heels. Okay, we'll settle in neutral, and since we just went through some big twists, let's go ahead and reset the spine a little bit with cat and cow. Inhale to drop the belly button. Exhale to lift. Okay, exchange the breath and exchange the motion. You've got it. 2 more breaths. Wonder if it feels different along the spine or in the abdominals so far. Okay, come back to your neutral spine and let's go ahead and fold down into child's pose. So let's bring the hips back over the heels, drop the heart heavy, drop the forehead heavy, really walk the arms out for a moment. Trying to draw length across the spine here. Okay, so right now we're going for length with fingertips way forward. Okay, now it's not quite a twist, but let's see if we can create an abdominal stretch a little bit here. So I'm going to turn to the mat, but I'm going to keep the same child's pose. So arms way out long, forehead heavy. Okay, let's walk both hands over to our right side. So I may be the opposite of you. Walk the hands over to your right side. Stack the left hand on top of the right when you get there. Drop the forehead heavy again. Stretch. The hips are still heavy over the heels. The heart is still heavy over the knees. 1 more breath. Awesome. Let's walk across the mat. Take an exhale and walk the hands over to your left side. And when you get there, the right hand will cross over the left and the forehead will drop heavy again. Okay, the hips are still heavy over the heels. The heart is still heavy over the knees. We're just taking an abdominal stretch, lengthening one side of the body. Okay, let's come to neutral. I'm going to rotate on my mat again. Same child's pose, arms way out long. But with the next exhale, let's sweep the hands back. So when we take the hands back to where our hips are and we let the elbows drop beside us, we feel the two shoulder blades stretch away from each other. So I want you to breathe into what that feels like here. Imagine as you're breathing, you are watching that space between the shoulder blades expand and rest. All right, so now instead of lengthening the spine, we're trying to let the spine find its own natural rounded feeling. Now it feels a little more rounded in the spine. Okay, walk the hands up beneath the shoulders here. And then let's rise up into our seated place. We're going to find our hero's pose for a moment. So we're stretching the ankles a little bit. We're going to try and rise up and balance. If you have a foot, ankle, or knee injury, you do not have to do this posture. Stay in child's pose. If that is uncomfortable, that's okay. You can go back to more of a tabletop place. All right, take a breath. And when you're ready, move forward into tabletop. Let's go ahead and tuck the toes under, sweep the hips up and back for our first down dog. Push the heart towards the knees, whether those knees are strong, heels heavy to the ground, or knees are soft with heels lifted a little bit. That's okay. All right, either way, let's look forward to the hands. Walk up to our forward fold. Soft knees will relax that low back space. Rise up to the top of the shin bone, half lift. Balance with a strong spine. Exhale, forward fold. Wrap the arms strong around the legs. Sway a little bit side to side. Nothing fancy. All right, come back to neutral. Drop the arms heavy and let's rise into mountain. So straight spine rising all the way up. Roll the shoulders back at the top. Shake it out a little bit if you need to. Okay. From our mountain, let's sweep the hands tall overhead. Let's let the palms meet in the midline of the body. Lace the fingers. Turn the heel of the palm to the sky. I'm going to set my feet a little bit outside of hip distance here because we're going to move a little bit to one side. Exhale to drop a little heavy on that side of the body. Inhale, rise up to neutral. Exhale, lean to the opposite side. Okay, we don't have to go fast. We don't have to go far. Rise up. Lean on the exhale. Inhale. Lean on the exhale. Awesome. Come back to neutral. Now, let's go ahead and lean a little bit back. So we're going to lift from the chest here. I want to encourage you to drop the shoulders away from the ears. Feel as though the heart is lifting us up. Lean a little bit back. Okay, find our neutral spine again. Exhale, forward fold and release the palms away from each other. Take a long step back with your left foot. So we've got our runner's lunge here. Let's plant our left hand in the mat beside our right knee. By the way, our right knee is safe above our ankle. And then we're gonna step the right palm on top of the right thigh. Open up the heart to our right side of the room. Sweep the right hand tall overhead and hold this twist for 4 breaths. Big breath in the body, strong legs for foundation. Okay, and wide space across the heart here. Great breath. All right, let's bring both palms to the mat. Let's go ahead and walk around to the long side of our mat like we're heading towards our back foot, and let's stop halfway across the mat. So now both toes are going to point the same side of the mat. The heart and hips are centered on that long edge of the mat, and we're going to soften the elbows a little bit and try to point the crown of the head down at the ground beneath us. You can soften the knees here, or you can keep them strong. Try not to lock out the knees though, okay? Wherever you're at, just don't lock out the knee, okay? Great breath in the body. Finding a neutral space between our hips. Okay, and then let's go ahead and turn all the way towards the back of our mat. So we're walking around to our left foot. We're going to eventually point both toes at the back of the mat when it feels safe to do so. Okay, the knee is safe directly over the ankle. Right palm flat in the ground, left palm climbs on top of the thigh. Line up the heart nice and even towards the wall, and then sweep the left hand tall overhead. Awesome, great twist. So we're creating a long space from one wrist to the other. Great breath in the body. One more breath. All right, when you're ready, both palms come to the mat. Let's walk around towards that wide stance. Forward fold again. Toes, hips, and shoulders facing the same long side of the mat. Soften the elbow to help drop the heart. Point the crown of the head down at the ground. Soft knees or strong knees, as long as the knees are not locked out. You got this. Wide stance, forward fold. Awesome. Okay, let's walk around to the top of our mat again so that we've got our runner's lunge. Okay, both toes will eventually point towards the top of the mat again. We're going to take that right foot back to meet the left foot, hips to the sky, down dog. We've been here, we get this. Okay, let's sweep the left leg high behind us, and this time let's bring the knee towards our hand. So left knee towards our left hand. We're going to plant that knee on the mat, sweep the left foot across the body towards the right side of the mat, and then heel toe the right toe all the way out long until you can plant that right kneecap flat. Untuck the toe. Walk the hands up towards our left shin bone so that we can lift the heart to the sky. Push the chin up. And we have our pigeon pose. Okay, so I kind of blend in with my mat here. Let me rotate on the carpet for you guys. So I'll redo it again, but stay where you're at if you're already comfortable. From down dog, we come forward, we cross, we heel toe, flat knee, flat foot, walk up to the shin bone and lift the heart, okay? And so it feels like the heart is pushing forward, the chin is pushing up. We'll just hold on to our pigeon pose for a moment. Finger pads in the mat, not the whole flat hand. Unless you have long arms, then you could probably do the flat hand. Okay, the challenge here is to keep the hips balanced and level to the ground, because when this knee comes forward, we often want to dip off to one side and sit on that glute, and then this opposite hip feels really weird. So we balance the hips, okay? Both hips are kind of hovering above the mat. Ooh, pigeon pose. Let's try and make it a little more restful. Let's fold down to the mat to maybe our elbows. Okay, now this kind of changes the stretch so that we're not so focused on abdominals and low back space anymore. When we move down into this humble pigeon pose, we're now focused a little bit more on the glutes and the hamstring in this knee side of our body. Okay, I'm going to rotate back on my mat into my humble pigeon right where you guys are at. Okay, but we always do our step-by-step process, getting into and out of a posture, okay? It's one step at a time. One more great breath in this pigeon. And when you are ready, let's rise back up to our tall pigeon. Let's tuck the back toes under, lift the knee, swing the hips up and back, downward facing dog, right where we came from. Okay, let's try that on the opposite side. Sweep the right leg high, bring the right knee forward to our right wrist, sweep the right foot across the body, across the mat, heel toe the left foot back, flat knee, flat foot, walk up to the front shin bone and push the heart to the sky. Maybe finger pads, if you have long arms, maybe flat palms. I can't really do it with flat palms, so finger pads is best. Okay, so here we are trying to decide how we feel about balancing our hips level to the ground here. Remember, we're not dumping down on one side and rolling up on the other. We're balancing. Okay, try to decide how we feel all the way up the belly space as the chin pushes to the sky. How we feel in the low back space. One more great breath in this tall pigeon. And then if you're comfortable, you can fold down to meet humble pigeon, maybe with elbows at the mat. Maybe some people are comfortable crossing the forearms and dropping the forehead. Some people can stretch their arms way out long without the support of their elbows. I'm picky, and I like to just stay right here. But I'm not the boss of you, so wherever you want to put your humble pigeon, you will most likely notice the stretch change its focus from that low back space in the abdominals to the glute and the hamstring in the back of the thigh that has come forward here. Okay, we want to be patient and slow when we transition into and out of postures like this because we don't want to move too quick and shock a muscle or overextend a ligament. So we're going to be mindful of how we feel as we move out of this posture. We plant the palms to rise, but we don't have to rise all the way up. We tuck the back toe under, lift the knee, swing the hips up and back, pedal out those legs. Okay, let's try to lift up to tippy toes for a moment, and then drop the heels heavy. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go for a down dog twist here. So let's set the feet out to the edges of the mat, way out wide stance, and let's walk the hands just a little bit closer to the feet so it feels like the heels are almost flat to the ground, even if that means that you're up really close, okay? So keep the hands and feet wide stance. Sorry, I've got a hair in my face. Okay, for our first twist, let's send the right palm to the middle of the mat, underneath the face-ish, kind of, a little bit. Okay, take the left hand, cross under the body to our right ankle, right shin bone. Try not to hang right onto the knee itself or right onto the ankle itself. Grab a strong bone and then pull that left shoulder underneath the right shoulder. Soften the left knee a little bit to help you twist. And then we're going to look up to the sky on our right side of the room. Awesome. When you're ready, left palm comes to the mat. Right palm goes out wide. Pedal out the knees a little bit. Okay, I know it feels kind of silly. Swing the hips way over to our left side. Swing the hips way over to our right. Swaying side to side for a moment. All right, let's cross the body on the opposite side. So let's go ahead and set our left palm near the middle of the mat, kind of under our face. Right palm crosses under the body to our left shin bone or foot. Remember, we're not tugging on the knee itself. We're not tugging on the ankle itself. We're pulling the right shoulder underneath the left shoulder and then looking up to the sky on our left side of the room. Softening the right knee will help you twist. Big breath in the body. Okay. No hurry, no rush. When you're ready, unwind. Set the palms out wide. Pedal out the knees. Sway side to side. Okay, let's bring the feet and hands shoulder and hip width apart again. Pedal out the knees. Lift up to the tippy toes. Drop the heels heavy. Let's move for child's pose. Drop the knees. Untuck the toes. And drop the body down towards the ground. There we go. All right. So hands way out long for just a moment. I know the shoulders are getting really tired. Bear with me. And let's go ahead and sweep the hands back. Now, like I mentioned before, when we're reaching forward in our child's pose, we're trying to draw length out of the spine. When we drop these hands back and allow the arms to kind of drop heavy with gravity here, we're trying to help the spine find that rounded shape in the upper body. All right. Hopefully this feels better on your shoulders after all that time in down dog. Let's take 2 more great breaths here. All right, and when you're ready, let's come into our tabletop posture. We'll build up to hands and knees at the mat. We'll sway a little bit side to side. Okay, not far, not fast. We'll rock a little bit forward over the fingertips and a little bit back over the heels. Not far, not fast. Okay, let's come into our neutral tabletop and let's recline on the mat. So we'll move into a seated posture. We'll take up as much space across the mat with our spine as we're comfortable with. That being said, you can kind of curl up like a cannonball and rock side to side, and that may release some tension from the low back space. You could practice those knees side to side with feet flat. You could drop knees one way for a little while, breathe it out a little bit, and then drop them off to the other side like we did earlier. Totally cool. Or if you're ready to just find complete stillness for yourself, you can set feet out wide, prop the knees against each other, broken bridge. You could bring the feet together, let the knees fall for our reclined butterfly. Or you can just kick the feet way out to their own corners of the mat. Let the arms rest wherever you're comfortable. You know, lots of options. But we're moving into final relaxation, so I want you to start to come to a place of stillness when you're ready. And when you get into your final relaxation place, start to close the eyes, relax the forehead, relax the jaw, relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Try to draw the exhale longer than you inhale. Doesn't have to be much longer, but you'll focus on exhaling fully, completely. And if you like, you can stay here for a few more minutes. But if you feel ready to move on, whenever that happens, whenever you're ready to move, we can roll to our favorite side and rise up into a seated posture, any seated posture that you like. You could stay here in happy pose, revisit hero's pose sitting on the ankles, or keep the feet way out long. You can even find butterfly here if you prefer. So long as we can root the hips down strong, stack the spine up tall, roll the shoulders down and away. And it's at this time at the end of our practice that I'd like to thank you for choosing to share your time and your practice with me here. And again, it is the light within me that honors and bows to the light within you. Namaste.